I'm Matt.
Yeah, I'm Kevin.
And this is...
What is it?
Relationships in the nerdy sphere. Got it. Okay.
Well,
I hadn't thought that far ahead. Okay, see, I find relationships in the nerdy sphere to be a little bit difficult sometimes. Because I think the essence of being a nerd means you have a fairly non-standard personality. And so sometimes non-standard personality and non-standard personality work amazingly. Example A. But sometimes non-standard personalities don't really fit. Like I was talking to this girl for like 5 months. She's really nerdy. She's really nerdy too. Huge, old music fan like me. Legend of Zelda all over the wall. You know, I was just head over heels. And then, one night about a year ago, she calls me up a little bit drunk, and then she was like, hey, just wanted to let you know, probably should have told you 5 months ago, I'm not really into you, but I am looking to occasionally hook up. And I'm like, one, it took you 5 months to come to that conclusion. That's, wow. Two, no.
So do you think your particular nerdiness had an effect on the outcome of that? So what does that have to do with being a nerd, is my question.
What does that have to do with being a nerd? Okay, I think that my nerdiness was a little bit deeper than hers. I think she was more of a nerd in the sense of like, hey, let me put on some fancy glasses and some suspenders, and I can call myself a nerd to be more mainstream.
So you were accusing her of being a fake girl nerd?
Sort of.
Sort of. Choose your words wisely.
I don't really know. I mean, like, I have a feeling she wasn't really more like invested into very nerdy things. She just liked to claim she was a nerd. And I don't really know if that's something you can just say or whether it's just something that you can't. I don't really know how that works.
Well, okay, here's an idea. So, you could broadly define being a nerd into like 2 separate identities. There's nerdy media.
Nerdy media.
Which is like Legend of Zelda, and, that's the the example that you gave.
Yes.
But, those are Doctor Who, or like Sherlock, even like Vlogbrothers. And then there's kind of like the nerd social scene, or you could even say like personality, like not just what a person consumes, but like how they think or what they do. And being part of one does not necessarily imply that you're part of the other. It's possible for 2 people to both enjoy the same media and both be like similar nerds in that sense, but that doesn't mean that they're going to have meshing personalities.
Oh yeah, and no.
And I think the unfortunate thing is often nerds will meet each other through their fandoms. I guess fandom is the word I was looking for. Like, people will wear Adventure Time hats. Right now I'm wearing an indie band t-shirt. And like that's a way to signal your nerddom to others. And they'll say, oh, you like Adventure Time? I like Adventure Time. We should be friends. But just because you both like Adventure Time doesn't mean you're going to get along.
Yeah, and I think some people come in with a preconceived notion that the nerd community or that the nerd mindset is such a small thing that 2 people who meet who happen to like the same things are just going to get along and like each other. And then it maybe turns out down the road that you're just 2 different people. And it's not going to work. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that doesn't help to be really into Adventure Time and boy A likes Adventure Time and then girl B, boy B, whoever also likes Adventure Time, and that's mutual ground. But then if one person, their ideology doesn't really fit with the others, I mean, that's just not going to work, and you can't force it. And so, like, okay, now that you've gone, like, past meeting people, and I really think that nerddom is a good way to meet people, because nerddom centers around community, events, shared interests, and that all helps to actually make contact, but how do you actually maintain a meaningful relationship in the context of nerdiness? Like, how have you done it?
That is such a difficult question. Like, we've been together for 6 years, so this is not a situation that many people come across, and I find myself incredibly unhelpful when people ask me for relationship advice.
6 years ago, I was into Fall Out Boy. Put that into context. That's how long they've been together.
Yeah, so like sometimes people ask me for relationship advice, so like, well, how do I meet people? Or like, once I met someone, how do I get to know them? I don't know. I don't know.
And that's the thing.
6 years.
People come to me because people also come to me because they just assume, I guess, somehow that I'm knowledgeable about relationships, and I'm really not, because I've been in one ever. So they come to me and they're like, Matt, how do you talk to women? And I'm like, okay, do you want an example? Hey girl, I like your neck. That part of your neck looks good.
Okay, so Matt, if I had to give you some advice, if I had to give like anyone advice, it would be this: that if you meet someone who you're interested in, then you should just like become friends with them and like treat them like you would a normal friend type person.
You don't like Zelda Get Out. Just kidding.
That you wouldn't say that to a normal friend type person.
True. Mistake number one.
And you wouldn't say, I like your neck to a normal friend type person either.
Hey, you want to go and mate? Like, you want to do that? No? Okay. Part of the reason I chose this topic is I speak for all of the people who might come from the ever so nerdy group of you're just not good at communicating or talking to like other people. I guess sort of maybe that like nerdy stereotype, because it does exist, but it can exist anywhere. I just so happen to be a nerdy person who also sucks at talking.
But you know, Matt, in our friendship, I've never gotten the impression that you're bad at talking to friends.
I'm not bad at talking to friends. I think I approach it with the wrong mindset, and I'm like, I have to do something different or I'll be exiled to the friend zone, which is where my arm is going off screen. It's over there.
Yeah, that's not the way to approach it, in my opinion.
And then that's probably wrong, and I don't mean to. It just kind of happens. It's just like, oh, a girl's talking to me. What do I do? It's like that sort of thing.
You've got to treat them like a person.
And instead of it being like, hi, how are you? It's more like,